in your networks, it's probably likely that some will get in. You're not going to have a undefeatable gateway to your networks. Once they get in, they could be persistent, work their way laterally through the network. But if you manage, you know your environment, including asset management, continuous monitoring, then you minimize the impact. I doubt whether you'll ever fully eliminate it. Okay, federal network security, they're a really important element of what we do. To some extent, US-CERT is a incident response coordinator. You know, we get incident reporting, we discover malicious activity, we produce reports on that. It's a very dynamic, fast-paced activity. That's why we have a 24/7, 365 operation. So in some sense, if you want to think in military lingo, US-CERT, their focus, or a lot of our energy goes towards the tactical level of defense. Where we're responding to day-to-day things, we're putting out products that help people now. Right? Do this now, mitigate the threat. Federal Network Security Division is aimed at the more strategic, longer-term mitigative activities. We're working with some departments and agencies. Federal Network Security is working with some department and agencies to reorient their architecture, to institute policies and practices that are quite a bit different than what they did to build their current networks. And so they're a longer-term thing. So we're working out between US-CERT and Federal Network Security a way to do the handoff at some point in time. Not to totally hand off, because there's a dynamic that occurs when you implement a best practice, for instance, that's required for a trusted internet connection. Then what US-CERT, as part of its monitoring and analytic effort, would then be able to evaluate the effectiveness of that policy for trusted internet connection. So we're trying to put together that dynamic right now so that we can just continuously improve instead of just hit the gophers, you know, the one-offs and the gophers that pop right up everywhere. And so this is how FNS envisions the world as it is today in the government as far as security goes. This is where we want to be, and I think many of you are familiar with some of the efforts. We've been directed by OMB to perform with Cyberscope and enhanced physical reporting, more emphasis on continuous monitoring, etc. There we go. Response and assistance services. As I said earlier, US-CERT is all about providing support to its constituents in the private sector, public sector, even internationally. These are some of the things that we do. We provide analytic teams that go out either on-site or virtually, go out and help departments and agencies or private sector entities assess their networks and assess activities on their networks. Stuxnet is a good example of that. We've had folks both on-site and off-site, different locations, doing analysis on Stuxnet. And we probably average between US-CERT and Industrial Control Systems CERT, one off-site trip a month, I would say, either to state, local, government, or industry. One thing I want to mention is our digital media analysis, malware analysis capability. We got the authority to operate our, what we call our digital media analysis lab. So we're building out our malware analysis capability. Right now we leverage CERT-CC a lot in Pittsburgh for that, but we're building a lot of in-house capability, and I expect in the next 6 to 8 months our capability as far as malware analysis goes will grow exponentially. And we've been working on building that capability for the last 2 years. So that's going to be a significant service, I think, that folks should take advantage of. Okay. International, I think we've talked about international already, right? That's why I'm here, not Randy. Usual 5, International Watch and Warning Networks, and all of these organizations, all of these countries have participated in Cyberstorm, the Cyberstorm series of exercises. We're working on a couple of, or on one in particular, NATO exercise, the NATO Cyber Coalition exercise, which is an annual exercise, and trying to increase our, which includes the national CERTs of NATO member countries, and so we're trying to expand that as well. Okay, there's our contact information. Any questions? I got a couple of things, but yes, ma'am.
So as you said, you're more tactically focused. What about farther the front end, designing systems, designing new networks, and provide advice to the acquisition community, or is that something else?
Well, yes, we do. That's part of the document we're trying to develop right now. We have some capabilities to do that inside of US-CERT or between federal network security folks and US-CERT. We leverage some contractual relationships that we have as well, and other than contractual relationships, partnerships with vendors, who may have a little contractual relationship with a third party. So we try to get a really good stool type synergy going on there. But as far as internally, what we're trying to do is develop kind of an innovation bubble where we can internally kind of get ahead of the game as far as what our requirements are for analytic tools, monitoring, things to help us help the community. And then in conjunction with FNS, we're developing a more sophisticated, more robust capability to do that kind of strategic level advice and architecture, modifying the architecture, and implementing different policies, kind of at a strategic level. That I know in departments and agencies, just like in DHS, takes a long time to do, it takes a lot of resources to do. So we have to build a capability for sustained engagement across the board. So we're trying to do that now. Yes, sir.
And I apologize, I'm not sure if there have been any changes due to Cyberstorm 3, but in Cyberstorm 2, I know that one of the major issues or the major areas of focus was that idea of establishing trust. And I know that comes back to your idea of communication and coordination. What are some of the ongoing projects, either with organizational behavioral change or specific products and technology, that are being deployed by US-CERT to try and enhance that ongoing and into the future?
Yeah, there's a couple things going on. How many people attended the G1st conference in August? I think maybe a couple of people did. As part of the National Cyber Protection System, we're developing an information sharing environment that's wiki-based. It was a model, or a demonstration of it was provided at the G1st conference. And so that's intended to be a collaborative space that provides access to different information, finished information, as well as potentially more raw detail across the federal community. So in addition to the owners and operators of the critical infrastructure as well. So we're in the process right now of developing the requirements to build a platform, collaborative platform that provides for information sharing across our community. From a tools perspective, we walk a very fine line in providing advice to departments and agencies or anybody between advocating a particular vendor for a particular technique